All right, what's happening, everybody? Ryan Adams here, Adams Group at Compass. It's time for another wonderful episode of Ryan and Real Estate. Hope you guys are doing well. Let's get right into it. This episode, we are talking about the four-letter word in real estate, which is actually not four letters, but it's called a contingency. And the contingency we're actually talking about, there's quite a few contingencies that are out there. There's third-party financing addendum that's a part of the TREC promulgated form that we use as realtors, which basically lets the seller and in the contract know what is the type of financing that's going to be used. That third party is a contingency, the option period is a contingency, earnest money is a contingency, but the one we haven't talked about in a while is the one I'm going to talk about today, which is a contingency that we actually use a lot in real estate and used to use it a lot before we got into this crazy market. But that is the contingency of the addendum for the sale of another property. And that is what a lot of people are getting caught up not being able to make a transition in this market. Let's just say here it is. You're a homeowner and maybe you didn't put down 20, 30, 40% into your home and you don't have a ton of equity. Maybe you just did 5%. That's not a bad decision, by the way. But you need to sell your house, and because you don't have a ton of equity in it, you need to sell your house in order to buy the next house. And usually that's happening if you're upgrading, but it could happen if you're downgrading as well. But bottom line is you need to sell your house in order to go buy a house. So in order to do that, there's only two ways you can do it. One, you have to be able to get approved for 2 loans at the same time, and that means that you're gonna be able to float 2 mortgages at the same time. Now, you don't typically have to do that for a long period of time, and there are some other options out there that lenders can do to help you kind of figure out that situation. But for most people, they typically have to sell a property to go buy another property. So how you do that is you get your home on the market, and then you get it under contract, and then you go try and find a property. Now, the hard part is there's not many properties already, but then you've got a small window to be able to find a property in which you can make an offer. And then when you're making that offer, you're making an offer contingent that you sell your property. Now, the property you're making the offer on, there's that seller. And that seller is putting their house on the market and they're gonna get all these offers. And really, to break it down, there's 3 main types of offers. There is a cash offer, which is, what do we say? Cash is king. Then there's a loan offer, which is typically conventional FHA. Someone is financing that offer, which typically has to be underwritten by a mortgage company. And then the third, which is a mix of the loan, but it means that you have to sell your house. It's that contingent on selling your property. So that seller is putting their house on the market, and here come offers, and let's just say they're looking at the offers. And most of these houses we're selling these days, at least we're seeing multiple offers. So they're looking at the offers and they see an offer that's conventional, just a typical conventional loan, someone putting 20% down, whatever the sales price is, and they're seeing maybe cash, and then here you come along and you're like, hey, I'm gonna make an offer, but it's contingent that I sell my property. Now, who do you think they're gonna take? And yep, you're right. It's almost zero chance that if there's anybody else that's making an offer on that property, that they're gonna accept your offer when you have a contingency to sell the property. Because why? Let's give you this example. Recently, my family and I went on vacation for spring break. We went to Disney World. Now, 6 months prior, when I was booking this trip to Disney World, let's just say I went online, I went to add to cart, and maybe in the promo code section, I typed the words, please don't run my credit card until 6 months from now because that's when I'm gonna get paid enough that I can pay for this trip. What do you think Disney's gonna do? I'm gonna show up at the park, I'm not gonna have a ticket. I'm not gonna have a reservation because no one wants to give you something until they know you can pay for it. And in the same way, there's a very rare amount of sellers out there that will be willing to accept a contract in this market, willing to take your offer if you're not able to basically pay for it right now. And there's not another contingency or something else that has to happen in order for them to, for you to make that purchase. So that is why making an offer right now with a contingency on the sale of your property is almost next to impossible. What could you possibly do? Well, you could find something that's been sitting there for a while. That's one way, because for some reason it's not selling. But in this market, if it's on the market and it's on the market more than like a month, it's either priced too high, it's in bad condition, or something funky's going on. That's the only way it could be the case in this market. And that might be your best chance. The other alternative is you can work with us. We have an exclusive partnership with HomeLight that allows you, that they built a program exactly for this called trade-in, which allows you for them to buy your property at market value, which then frees up that equity for you to go buy that property. It's the only program I know out there that works great, and they are great. And we've seen a lot of clients have great success with that. Let me remind you that please take a minute, subscribe to the channel, click the notification so that you can find out when we're releasing all this amazing, wonderful content. And we'll see you next time on Ryan Real Estate.